My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. Good morning to our friends already over on YouTube. We can have Ian and Karen. Hope you're both well. I shall wait for everybody to find the room until I see some eyes coming in. Stuart will be in the room with you today. Sue is somewhat otherwise engaged, answering the phones. Taking all your lovely half-price club members' sale orders. Good morning, Mo. Moo, sorry, I nearly called you Moo Mo. I was mid-flow with my conversation. Lovely to have everybody's company as always. Good morning, Catherine, Natalie. There we go. Everybody's coming in. Hopefully you can hear me. As I say, Stuart is in the room with you today. So if you have any questions, he's there to help. Good morning, Alison, Ken. Happy Groovi Tuesday indeed. What's the weather like? Should we start off with our weekly weather report, wherever you are in the world? A little bit overcast here today, quite sort of fresh outside. Yeah, a little bit breezy, but at least it's dry. That's the main thing, isn't it? So it's freezing in Clitheroe as we are in July. What the heck? Exactly. Who knows what this will blink and it will all change, wouldn't it? So bright and cloudy in Ripon, sunny and breezy with Natalie. Yeah, good morning, good morning, good morning. There we go. Everyone's coming in now. So yeah, that should be my all clear from Stuart. Sound is good. Thank you, Stuart. So as I say, if you have any questions, Stuart's there to help. I'll try and catch any comments if I see them. Yeah, it's lovely. Have we got anybody new into the Groovi Tuesday for the first time today? There's some names I don't recognise, but apologies if you have been in the room before. Yeah, so I'm distracted reading the messages. Yeah, I think it is really a mixed bag at the moment with the weather, isn't it? It was raining in Wisbech, in Cambridgeshire. Good morning, Glynis. Overcast and breezy in Swindon. There we go. It's a real mixed bag. Raining in Australia. Good. It's evening, I think, at the moment in Australia, if I'm correct. Might be wrong. I'm rubbish with time zones. Just about know what time of day it is here. So Natalie says it's been a while since she's been able to pop in. Well, it's lovely to have your company today. And if you are tuning in for the first time, don't forget you can always go back and watch all of the previous episodes of Groovi Tuesday, In the Shack, Craft Alongs, Moments of Clarity, all over on the Clarity Crafts YouTube page. So, grey and raining in Germany. Goodness me, it really is, isn't it? It's all over the place at the moment, this weather. So, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get groovy for the next hour. So it doesn't matter what the weather's doing outside, does it? I'm just going to move the mouse because the mouse is over the disconnect button and I don't want to accidentally press that. Good morning, Jayne. There we go. Everyone's coming in now. Okay. So for the past few weeks, we had a little detour in between, but we've been looking at this lovely sampler plate from Jayne Nestorenko. And we've definitely been putting it through its paces using different techniques. We've looked at white work, shadow embossing. So I know I say it at the beginning of every week, but it doesn't matter what level of parching you're at, you can definitely achieve some beautiful artwork using just this one plate. Whether you want to sort of practice your white work, whether you want to practice your colouring, maybe your pico cutting, maybe just a composition and you just want a quick and easy little card. But you can have any size, can't you? Because you can just use a series of the squares. Maybe you want to do a bookmark in a row. Maybe you want to go landscape across. Do you want to go 2? Do you want to go 3? Do you want to go 4? Or, depends how big your card is, you can go as long as you want, can't you? So So yeah, it's when you've got beautiful artwork from Jayne, it really does make it a lot easier to create beautiful artwork. And for me, the beauty of the Groovi system is having that ability to create stylish pieces with ease. It's 7 p.m. in Australia. I always have trouble catching you due to time changes. There we go. Imagine how I feel. I don't even. All I know is that it just gone 10 o'clock here in the UK, and this is where I need to be on a Tuesday. So at the beginning of the journey, we started to look at using the embossing tools, the shader tools we got back in stock, adding some white work, tracing out with the different tools, the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we spent several weeks on that. So if you want to see how this was achieved, then as I say, you can go back and have a look at that. Then we had a look at different color mediums. So for the top one, colored on the front using the metallic gel pens. And then it was a combination of the pergaliner pencils, the Perga color pens, the Dorso crayons. Let's just pop some white underneath so we can have a look at those colors there. There we go. So getting different depths of color. So that was my sort of practice sheet. And then during the course of the sessions, I then went with the lovely reds and yellows and oranges. And I've made a note of the various different colors I've used and what technique. So in a way, this is like a key that I can go back and look at. Then what we did was we started to build our piece of artwork, and I created 4 squares, put a frame around the outside of it, and then decided that for the butterfly, the rose, and the agapanthus, the different color mediums I was going to be using on them. So for the butterfly, I decided I was going to go for the pergaliner pencils. For the rose, I was going to go with the Dorso crayons and the B pencils. And then finally, on the agapanthus, I was going to go with the Perga color pens. Now, for many of our friends tuning in today, many of you will be a member of the Clarity Craft Clubs. Whether you belong to 1, 2, or 3, then currently at the moment it kicked off. Where are we now? Kicked off yesterday. Twice a year. One of the benefits of being in the Clarity Craft Clubs, not only do you receive a product, you receive a double-sided sort of like a project sheet containing 2 step-by-step projects. You get a newsletter from Barb. You also get a discount. Now, with effect from the 1st of July, if you belong to 1 club, you get 10%. If you belong to 2 clubs, you get 12.5%. And if you belong to all 3 clubs, you get 15%. And what I mean by that is it's a discount on all of your online shopping, or if you come to any of our events. So there's just a few of the little benefits that you get from being in one of the craft clubs. And we do Groovi, stamp, and stencil. So there's lots of different sort of mediums to cover everybody. And currently, twice a year, we have a half-price club member sale. So all things Clarity, Groovi, Pergamano, fresh cut dies, they're all half price for a limited period of time. And that kicked off yesterday and will run until the end of Monday, the 8th of July. So I reckon everything that I'm using in today's session will be in that half price club member sale. So just saying, if you're looking to stock up on some of your essentials, maybe you want to treat yourself to a new set of pencils or pens, stock up on your parchment even. Or maybe you're looking for the Pergamano tool organizer to start collecting all your stashes. You can never have too many of those. Now would be a good opportunity to take advantage of that. So yeah. So what we're going to do, last week we looked at colouring in with the pencils. And if I bring the butterfly into power, I'm going to zoom in a little bit now. So because we're going to really sort of concentrate on the area. Ouch, static. And I'm going to zoom in this way. There we go. Let's bring that lovely butterfly into focus. There we go. I'll readjust it now that we've moved it. And so yeah, so I went with, on the butterfly, I went with the Pergolina pencils, and we used the B4 and the B14. But before I actually started colouring in, do you remember what we did? I did a little test piece to have a look at some colours. And so last week we played with a couple of colours, didn't we? If we look on the back, which is where the colour has been applied, I went for the B8 and the B13. So these B reference numbers are in relation to the Pergolina B pencils. So the B8 and the 13 was used to create this colour option. Then the B11 and the B2 was this one. And then this was the B4 and the B14, so creating different colourways. So we did a vote, and due to popular demand, we went with the B14 and the B4. So this was my butterfly coloured in, and we started to sort of add the colour. So we used the Dorso oil with the blending pen, and you can never have too many blending pens. If you often watch Barb or Linda Williams when they're working, they've often got several blending pens on the go with nibs in, using for different colours. Okay, so if you're looking to top up, then that's good. Now what I thought we could do is, I've coloured on the back, and we can intensify the colour by adding some colour to the front of our artwork. Okay, now I'm just going to put my goggles on so I can see what I'm doing. That's better. So if you have a look at this one here, you can see the colour has been blended on the back. We intensified it by putting some pencil on there. But if I turn over to the front, what I've then done, I don't know if you can see it, I'll come in a little bit, let me hold it up to the camera. What I've done, I've introduced some pencil work onto the front. Okay, so if I take some sharp pencils, and what I'm going to do now, just like we would if we were doing white work, I'm starting at the base of the body, and I'm just flicking inwards to the center of the wing. Okay, and I'm sort of doing it at different lengths. Then I'm going to take the blue, and I'm going to put some blue just over the top. Now, what you'll find is that Ken says, are they my Groovi goggles? They are indeed, Ken. Now, what you'll find is that you'll get a little bit of dust when you're doing this. Okay, and so the best thing to do, rather than use your hand, which will have some heat in it, is take a brush and brush away. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. There we go. So the brush gets rid of the debris, so to speak. And if I bring that up, can you see how we've now got that lovely colour that's been intensified on the front? Now, if I wanted to, I could take the blue pencil, and maybe I want to come in a little bit at the tip of the wing, just like so. Okay, so we're just adding, we're just sort of, in a way, it's sort of intensifying the colour a little bit, so we can add some shade to our design. Brush again. Sometimes, and don't forget, if you make a little mistake, you can also rub it out with your eraser pencil. Okay, so if I bring that up now, can you see that we've just put a little bit more depth to the edge of that wing? Okay, so going back to my artwork, I want to add a little bit of sort of depth just to some of the areas on my butterfly, just like so. Okay, maybe I want to go with that purple. So the two colours I'm using, I wrote them down so that I didn't forget from last week, because I knew that I would. So I'm using the B4 and the B14. Okay. Now really this butterfly is also asking for some glitter on the front to give it that little bit of shimmer or sparkle. And the lovely Jayne Nestorenko, she loved her glitter. For those of you that remember Jayne when she started back in the day with those lovely mandala stamps. And if I remember, next week I'll dig out that piece that Jayne created for my mum and bring it in to share with you. I just need to remember to do that. Next week's a long way off. Anything can happen in that week. So what we're going to do now, if you accidentally catch the white part of your line art, because we're working on the front now, and so that the line art is exposed, then I'm going to take my eraser pencil, and I reckon I probably could get away. Let's try with the pink end, because I don't want it to be too harsh. There we go. Just a little tickle on the white line art with the pink end of the eraser pencil, and it will just lift away if you accidentally hit the white line art on the front. There we go. Lovely. So if I bring that in now, on there you can see how some colour, how it's been intensified in some of the areas. I reckon I need, see, putting it on white can often help with some colour, as long as you can still see the line up. I mean, to be honest, the light panel would make a good difference would make a big difference. Yes, you know I like to tickle the parchment, so I'm just tickling away, just very, very lightly. And sometimes it's knowing when to stop. I know you can get carried away. You can spend many an afternoon just colouring in the butterflies. Okay, I reckon that's enough. I do. I reckon it's enough. Stop. Right. Okay. So that's my butterfly finished. Okay. So tick the box. That's all done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the Dorso crayons and some B pencils for my rose. Now the Dorso crayons come in two options. I'll zoom out a little bit now. We have our lively colours, and we also have our natural colours. So you've got like lovely whites and the blacks. Literally, as it says on the box, they are more natural colour palettes. So like for your leaves, your sort of backgrounds, you've got sort of like the flesh colours, and then in your lively colours, you then have your brights. I suppose that's another way of looking at it, isn't it? You've got your brights and your sort of soft tones. Now, I was going to keep with the same colour palette that I've used on the butterfly. So for that, I mean, I've got choices. I've got the lovely sort of purple colour in here, but then I've also got some white that I can lighten it with. And I've also got the navy may be a little bit too dark, but then the blue may be a little bit too bright. So what's the best thing to do? I hear you shout. Of course you do. The best thing to do is I'm going to trace out a rose and then we're going to have a look. So let's pop our colours to one side. I'm going to take a piece of parchment like so. I'm going to bring the plate into play. Where's my lovely rose gone? So there's the rose just there. I'm going to use my Groovi tabs to attach my parchment whilst I trace out. And so far, everything I've used is in the members half price sale. So maybe you're sort of playing catch up and you're just tuning in for the first time. Then think, oh, I could do, but I haven't got those colouring pencils, or I haven't got pens. Well, half price. Maybe now would be a good opportunity. So what we're going to do, we're going to trace out the rose just like so. Okay, so I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I'm going with the number 1 tool and we're just going to trace out the rose. I know you may think, oh, it's a little bit long-winded, having to keep tracing out and test the colours, but I'd rather spend the time doing this to see what colours work for me and how they work. And if I keep that little sort of key of the colours that I've used and the application method, then it makes it easier for me to go back. In a way, I don't then have to go back and replicate this. So it's that sort of investment of the time at the beginning. Okay, so I've got the lovely rose there. Let's just pop this part in as well. Okay, so we've got the rose. Okay, so look, just using part of it. So I'm going to come along now, move along nicely, and I'll trace out a second one. Might as well do all the tracing that I need at this point. So, how are we getting on? Has anybody finished their piece? Has anybody actually done it, or is it just me? I'm sure many of you at home have already done this, haven't you? See these little bite-sized pieces of artwork truly are wonderful. Okay, so whilst we're tracing this out, what else is going on here at Clarity Towers apart from the half price club member sale? So we've got Groovi Tuesday today. That ice cream that you were colouring in yesterday in the shack, it looked delicious. It really did, as if you could pick the ice cream up off the page and devour it. It really did look edible, didn't it? Excuse me. Okay, so that's my second rose. I think 2 will be sufficient for this. Okay, so I've got the rose. Yeah, so yesterday was the shack with Barb. If you missed out on yesterday's episode or any of the previous episodes, you can go back and watch again and again. Then today we've got Groovi Tuesday. Thursday evening at 7 p.m, you're getting all hippie chicky with the Hippie Chick craft along on Thursday at 7 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in my mix mats. Now, I haven't cleaned my mix mats from whenever I last used them, but it doesn't really tell me what colours I've used. I reckon that's the navy. I reckon it's the same colour options that we've used. And it's on my oil mix mat, so I know in order to blend those colours, and I can feel, and it feels like the Dorso crayons. Okay, so do I want to reactivate this, or do I want to start fresh? You know what, I'm going to reactivate these colours. So I reckon I've used the navy, the purple, and the light blue. So if I do, yeah, there's the navy, there's the purple, and there's the light blue, which I'm guessing because there's the light blue here. So I reckon I've definitely blended all those colours together. So I'm going to take my blending pen, and I've got my nibs in this lovely little storage container. Okay, so let's go take a couple of clean nibs out, pop those back into there, like so. I've got my spot-on sponges, and then I've got my Dorso oil. Okay, so let's activate this onto there. Love the smell. Smells of summer, the Dorso oil. So if you're not having the good weather, then get some Dorso oil. That will certainly make you feel very summery. I'm going to take my nib, add some Dorso oil, and then start to blend my colours in. Okay, so I'm using it, as it says, it's a mix mat. So I've got choices. I can either put the Dorso oil on the mix mat and blend. I could blend with a tissue as well for larger coverage, or I can go straight from the spot-on sponge and have maybe a little bit more control. Okay. Now what I will do is, let me just have a look, see if I've got, okay, no, I haven't got one to hand. Okay, so if I now take my mix mat, so I've got options. I can mix my colour on my mix mat and then apply like so. So this is putting sort of like a base coat down. So at the moment it looks quite, where's the white card? So it looks quite fluid in colourways. Okay. Lots of oil on the nib. Okay. So I've got choices. I can go from the mix mat and then colour in using the nib direct. And you'll notice that it's getting lighter and lighter as the colour becomes more diluted. What I can do is go back and pick up the colour, and I'm turning the nib around like so, and it reactivates the other side. Okay, so, and what it does, say a light panel would definitely help me with this to see the lines better, especially on white card. I could use a coloured paper underneath as well. So, and I'm just putting sort of like a base layer down, really, just to get it going. Okay. And it's becoming lighter, and I'm turning that nib around. And I'm picking up where I've got more colour, where the colour's more intense. Like so. So this is very soft, very subtle, but very dark in the middle. Okay, so if I turn this over now, I mean, it's really, let me find. See, black is going to be a little bit too harsh. You're not going to see anything. On the white, if I bring that up to the camera, you can see that lovely soft tones, can't you? So what I can do now is take a different nib and then maybe go in, let's pick up some of the purple. So if I scribble some purple out there, like so, so pick up a little bit of oil. So don't forget, this is my practice piece to see whether this is the colorways I want to go with. So now I'm putting the purple on top. So we're building up layers of colour, and I'm going around in a circular motion. See, just by turning that nib slightly, it's moving. It's where I've loaded up the nib with the colour. Can we see this okay? Yeah, I think it is a very soft, gradual build up of colour. I quite like this very soft, subtle blend of colour. Just turn the nib around again. Maybe I pick up a little bit more from my mix mat. You know what I mean? Finish this and think, oh, goodness me, I don't like that at all. Then that's not a problem, because I can take my razor pencil and remove the colour as well. But I think I'm actually liking this. What do you think? It doesn't look like anything, does it, on the back? It really doesn't. So I'm picking up some more of that colour. I may decide, no. And we're also going to use the pencils to add a little bit of shading and depth to it. See, now this reminds it, this area here in the centre, definitely reminds me of sort of like a blue moon rose. One of my mum's favourite roses, the lovely. I'm going to go back to the purple one now and just go over the top of that one as well. And I haven't added any. I don't know if I don't know if you can see this, but it's like what's the word I'm looking at? It's like a marbled effect. Whether I could replicate this again, I have no idea, but we're going to find out in a minute. Okay, let's turn it over. So we've got a very soft and subtle colour. I wonder if I take, whoops, I take a solid, no, so this green's not going to be any good either. I need a soft colour. If think red is going to be a no-go. No. Okay. We'll come to that anyway. But I do like that soft, subtle colour. And we can build up the depth once the layers dry. So I'm going to go back to, so I need to make a note on here, don't I, of what I've used. So where's my pen gone? Okay. So this is using, hang on. So this is using Dorso crayons. And I've used, just to keep it simple, I'm going to go navy, light blue, purple, blended on mix matte with Dorso oil. Okay, so that's my little reference now to what I've done. Okay. Do I want to go? I don't know. I don't. Right, let's try something different on this one then. I'll stick with the same colours. So, oh, decision. You can see the indecisiveness. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of the navy. A little bit of the navy in there. Let's take another. I'm going to keep these two nibs to one side for that one. I'm going to take another. You never have too many nibs. So I'm going to take a clean nib. So this time we're going direct to the parchment. So, okay. That's very strange. Why is that coming out that colour? Was there some colour on the nib? I don't think so. So now what we're doing is we're blending directly onto the parchment. Too much oil. Too much oil on the nib. It doesn't matter because we're going to build up the layers of colour. I wonder why I got that green effect first. I wonder if it was the oil mixing with the blue. Okay, so just light. It probably sounds as if I'm really scratching, doesn't it? It's just the fibres of the blending pen. Okay, now that is definitely a weird looking road. I have no idea where that. I don't know. I quite like it actually. I like that. I don't know why. I've got a bit of yellow in here. It must be because it was, yeah, there must be some yellow because I've recycled the spot on sponge. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is let's take some purple. Same skilled technique. Okay, I'm going to take a different nib. Now I wonder whether there's enough sort of moisture from the layer that's down because I haven't allowed it to dry. Yeah, there's plenty there. So what I'm doing now is I'm dry blending the layer on top. I'm going to put the white underneath so you can really see because oh, that's not sure about that. Really not sure. But it's not over yet, is it? All right. You can get those multicolour roses, can't you? I'm sure someone says that they dip them into different dyes. But I've got a couple of variegated roses in the garden in different colourways. Let's turn it around. That just really, that's really weird. But I can take my eraser pencil and just tidy up around the outside. Brush. Where'd I put the brush? Okay. So, how's everybody getting on? It's a new breed of rose. Yes, this is a groovy rose. It really is. I'm not going to be able to replicate these. You do know that. I could cut it out and stick it on top, couldn't I? Right. Let's hold this up to the camera, or maybe not. Okay, I'm going to bring up. There we go. See? Is it my eyesight? Does it look all right? It's still a work in progress. Right, so Lisa's saying they split the stems into 3 and put them in red, yellow, and blue dyes. Nature mixes the colour. I wondered how that happened. Because I think it'd look a little bit too artificial, wouldn't it, if they sort of literally dipped the rose in like food colouring. Okay, so now this one is Dorso crayons. And I just use the navy and purple. And it was direct to parchment. That's right. Blended with Dorso oil. Okay, so again, yeah, I think I'm with Deborah on this one. I like the lighter colour. So, good morning, Josie. Right, okay. So now, now I've got to replicate that onto my finished piece of artwork. Should we give it a go? Should we see what happens? Okay, right. Here we go. So which one do I go for? I'm going to go for the softer, lighter, because I can build that up. Okay. So referring to my notes, it was the navy, the light blue. I'm not navy. Okay, navy, light blue, and the purple all mixed together. Be bold and do a rainbow one. No, I like this soft color palette. Let's have a slurp of coffee. How's everyone getting on? Is there anybody still there? I'm sure there is. See, this is where you need several blending pens. Keep changing them. So, Dorso oil. Pick up some colour. So let's blend those colours together. And then start to apply the colour to our rose. Okay. So what else have we got going on? So we've got the craft along on Thursday evening with the hippie chicks with Barb on Facebook and Clarity at 7 p.m. Sunday evening. Then on Sunday, first Sunday of the month, I can't believe, goodness me, the 7th of July. So that first Sunday of the month means it's Barb's on TV for a 2-hour special. and that's from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. So that's on Sunday. What else we got? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, he says, and then he forgets. It's written in front of me, but I can't speak. I've got brain fog, even though it's there. Christmas crafting with clarity. We had so much fun at the Ditton Open Days back in June. I mean, it was only last month. Back in June, that it was decided that we'd have a festive open day. So so we booked the dates, and it's the same setup as before. You can come on a Friday or the Saturday, or you can come for both. And it is on Friday the 8th of November and Saturday the 9th. And it's at the Ditton Community Centre like it was before. Okay. And all the usual, you've got your hourly raffles, you've got your make and takes, you've got your snip clinic, you've got your demonstrations in the middle. Refreshments, and because it's Christmas, the entry includes a free mince pie and hot drink as well. So that's to do Christmas open day. Yes, I'm sure some of our friends have already purchased their open day tickets. And then on the Sunday, because we're in the building, I thought, you know what, while we're here, while it's all set up, while it's Christmas, why not have a couple of Christmas workshops? So there's 2 options for you to choose from. So hard to choose. So you can get Inky and Arty with Barb, or you can go all groovy parchment with Linda Williams. And so that information is already on the website. Tickets are available already. So so if you're looking for doing something festive nearer towards Christmas, I mean, Christmas in June, goodness me, I mean, they kick off Christmas in June on TV, and then the sun starts shining. Very festive. I suppose in Australia, that's quite normal, isn't it? You've got lovely sunshine at Christmas. But yeah, so for nearer the time, and there'll be lots of Christmas crafting. I mean, there's obviously going to be other crafting as well, but with it being so close to Christmas. Okay, so let's have a look, see what I've got. At the moment, I've got one solid colour that doesn't look, well, it sort of looks a little bit like that one. So what I'm going to do now is, so yes, so we have that coming up. So that's something new for 2024. Let's have a look. Let's put some of the blue down now. What else have we got? We've also extended the Ditton summer retreats dates. Well, not the dates, the spaces available. They filled up so quickly, and we had many friends sort of saying, "Oh, we missed out." So, so we've extended the. There's a few more spaces available for those events, and that is on the 13th and 14th of August in Ditton. So it's a 2-day block, and then the 15th and 16th of August. So if you've got any questions or queries on that, you can give Sue a call. You can book those online. And then we've still got a few spaces left for the annual parchment retreat at the Spa Hotel in Royal Tunbridge Wells. And so again, all that information is on the website as well. So there's lots to keep you occupied throughout the year, as well as the shack, the craft alongs, the Groovi Tuesdays, the moments of clarity. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are, we're still here for you. We're still here to sort of keep you nice and company. Keep you company. Oh dear. Goodness. Getting all tongue-tied. So we're starting to build up that colour. I quite like this. And then I can take that blue. It's very soft and subtle. Really like the look of this. And we can intensify. Oh, it doesn't look much on the back, does it? But it is the back, isn't it? I love Jayne's roses. Just these could be any colour you want them to be. They really can. So I'm just okay. So I've got my colour on there, like so. Really like the look of that. It's that lovely sort of soft colour palette. Okay, so then for the rosebud, see for the rosebud in the naturals, I've got this lovely sort of like, I would call it like a pistachio green. I reckon that might work. See in the brights, I think the, oh, hang on. I'm going to sort my sponge out. Put that back in. See in here, I think that green is a little bit too bright. So I'm going to go for this one. Okay, so let's scribble some of that green out there. Definitely need a new nib for this one. Okay, now let's pick up some of that green. Now I'm going to just test that colour on my piece here. What's that look like? Very soft. See, I think the dark green, I think, would be... I could mix them though, couldn't I? Let's have a look. I can get sort of like a mid-colour green. Although saying that, roses tend to be that darker green, don't they? Yeah, I reckon that's definitely... Oh, I'm unsure now. What do you reckon? You need to add a bit of the rose petal colour to the leaves. If you look, they always have a bit of the colour on the petal. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go for the leaves. I'm going to go more for that darker green, I think. So let's put the colour down first. Because don't forget, I can always sort of lift it off a little bit with the aid of my razor pencil. I can sort of knock it back a little bit. So let's go into the stems, onto the underside of the rose. And I'm just tickling the parchment as usual. Tickling it very gently. But if I do go over the outside. Doesn't matter because I can use the eraser to tidy up. I definitely need some more of that darker green, I feel. So yeah, so lots going on here. I don't know where that went so high. Lots going on here at Clarity Towers this week. So I'm going to put this base colour down first, like so. It's quite sort of naive in colour, but we can enhance it by using, because I'm definitely going to be using the Pergoline pencils on top of this as well. And then if I take the nib and then maybe just put some purple towards the top to bring that in a little. Let's have a look. Really, yeah, very soft and subtle, but we can definitely bring that colour out. Okay, so that, in a way, that's sort of like my base coat down now, using the Dorso crayons. Okay, and so using the Dorso crayons, the blending pens, so now what I'm going to do is, remember the pencils we used for the butterfly? So we use the B14 and the B4, but then we've also got this B5. So let's have a look at the B5. So if I scribble B5 there, that colour there, and that colour there. See, I reckon this one probably will complement it a lot better. So what I'm going to do, I may regret it, but take my sharpener, sharpen my pencil. Okay. So I'm going to put my onto a white piece, and then I'm just going to add. It's hard to explain what I'm doing. What I'm doing, I'm not. Spit it out, Mr. Church. I'm not taking the colour and I'm going like that. What I'm doing is I'm dotting the colour, if that sort of makes sense. So it's a bit like the sort of the pointillism that Barb was showcasing the other day. So I'm not, yeah, I'm sort of dotting the colour on rather than flicking it on like I was when I was working with the other flower, with the butterfly. So just by dotting it on slightly, I'm just sort of adding a little bit of sort of depth to the edge. Of the petal. So if I turn that over now, I don't know if you can see, so we've just put some depth just to the, I'll bring that up, can you see that? Tickling in a dotty way. So, and then if I take another nib, come on nib, where are you? Then if I take a dry nib, another blending pen. So if I take a dry nib, no, that's got colour on it. I need a clean one. So you can definitely see it on the back, can't you? Yes, you can. I need to top up my nib stock. I need some clean, there we go, clean nib. So what it's going to do now is just gently see what's happened. Okay, interesting. The oil hasn't completely evaporated. Okay, so what it's done, it's really blended that in, but it's in a way it's also removed it. So ideally what I should be doing is letting the oil evaporate completely so I can build up that color. So this could be the perfect opportunity where we stop for today, because it just happens to be approaching 11 o'clock. And then this will definitely will have evaporated by next week, that we can then take the pencil and continue with this. Okay, what do you reckon? Well, what do you reckon? I mean, that's definitely what we're going to do. So let me just leave you with this image here. There we go. But I need to make a note that on here, what color am I using? This is the B5, because I will forget. If I put B5, then I'll know come next week that's the color pencil I need to go for. So thank you as always for your company. Yeah, it's been great fun. I've seen lots of the messages popping up. Don't forget the club members half price sale runs until the end of Monday the 8th. You've got the craft along with Barb on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And then on Sunday, Barb's 2-hour show on Create and Craft, 3 till 5, for lots of fun and hints and tips and tricks to keep you company. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday back in the shack with Barb, and then on Tuesday, where we're going to continue with this lovely rose. Or are we? No, I think, no, we're going all hippie chicky. Oh, we're going hippie chicky on Tuesday. We're going to have pudding for breakfast again on Tuesday. So so make sure you got your hippie chicks groovy plate, and yeah, we're going to sort of detour on the bus next week. So I may just finish this off in between, that we can just show about it, but we'll see. So thank you as always for your company. Thank you to Stuart for being in the room. And I will see you all again next week. Take care.